Good morning and welcome to Math Boxes for this week. We're going to go ahead and get started with Mondays. I'm actually going to help you guys with B first. So let's go ahead and zoom in on that one. You're going to write an expression representing each problem and then solve. So you need to decide, are we adding or are we subtracting? And then you actually need to solve the problem. So again, looking at B, it says Mrs. Phillips filled her watering can in order to water the flowers in her garden. She used 6/10 of the water to water her sunflowers and 3/10 of the water to water her rose bushes. What fraction of the water is left in the watering can? So if she filled it up, that means she has one whole watering can. And looking at our problem, it looks like our denominator is 10. So if I'm wanting one whole can, I would put 10/10. Then she used 6/10 of it, so I'm going to be taking away, meaning subtraction. And then she used 3/10 of it, so another subtraction. And now I'm going to figure out how much she has left, and I'm just going to use my subtraction skills. I keep the denominator the same, and I'll find the numerator by just subtracting. 10 minus 6 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. So she should have 1/10 left, 1/10 water left. Because these boxes are so small, I'm not going to worry about labels. So if you just circle your answer, that will be enough. Let's do F together, and then you should be able to do the rest. It says Annabelle's mom made pancakes for breakfast. 3/9 of the pancakes were blueberry pancakes. 1/9 of the pancakes were chocolate chip pancakes, and the rest of the pancakes were plain. What fraction of the pancakes were plain? So again, if we start off with the whole amount, so the this fraction needs to be 9/9. Looking at our denominators, that'll tell us what our denominator should be. We're taking away 3/9 because those were blueberry. We're taking away 1/9 because those were chocolate chip. And to figure out what's plain, we'll just do our subtraction. Remember to circle your answer. Go ahead and cross out Tuesday. We're not going to mess with it. And go to Wednesday. Wednesday, I'm not going to lie, the first one is kind of tough, but once you get this one, you should be able to do B, C, and D. So there's two parts to it. It says use the clues and numbers to solve. So A says in pink, shade two numbers with a sum of 88. So we're going to get a pink marker or pink colored pencil, and we're going to find the two numbers and the numbers above that add up, because we're doing the sum, and they get 88. So when you do this, you need to find two numbers that add up together and equal 88. And I will give you guys a helpful tip for this one. The rest you'll do on your own. If we add up 67 and 21, we'd get 88. So now that we've shaded those in, we can move on to the second step of part A. It says then multiply the numbers to find the product. So we're going to multiply. So in our expression, we're just going to write out the problem. We're going to multiply 67 times 21. And then for our product, that's the answer to a multiplication problem. So you'll do MZMA. You're going to want to do this on either scratch paper or notebook paper, or a whiteboard, but once you solve it, you'll put your answer here. So the rest of the clues you should be able to do. You'll shade blue, then yellow, and then green. Make sure you're multiplying and finding the product. All right, going over to fractions. This one's pretty tough. I'm going to help you guys out with a lot of the steps. It says rewrite each fraction using the same denominator, meaning if we look at this first problem, it says 2/8, 5/12, 1/3. We want to have the same denominator. I'm going to give you the denominator of what it should be. You have to find the equivalent fractions, and I'll show you what I mean with part A. The fraction or the denominator that it's going to have in common is going to be 24. And now we're going to find what each fraction would be if it had a denominator of 24. So remember, whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So how do we get from 8 to 24? Times 3. And then whatever we do to the bottom. So 2 eighths is going to become 6 24ths. Looking at 5 twelfths, how do I get from 12 to 24? I multiply by 2. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. So this fraction is going to be equal to 10 24ths. Oh, sorry, this one's supposed to be dogs. So I need to go to the dog section, which is the 1/3. 1/3 of the pets for sale are dogs. So how do I get from 3 to 24? I times by 8. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. 8 24ths. And now we can go back up to the fish, or I mean the cats. So how do I get from 12 to 24 times 2? Whatever I do to the bottom. So this would be equal to 10 24ths. Then the question is, which pet at the pet store is most available, meaning there's the most there. So we're going to find this fraction right here, and it's the cats. So there's the cats. So for the B and C, I'm going to give you guys the denominators, and you have to turn the fractions into what they need to be. For B, the denominator is going to be 6, so you'll change 1/2 to a fraction with a 6 and 2/3 to a fraction with a 6. And then tell me who ate more cereal. And then the last one, your denominator is going to be 8. And be careful, there's one you won't have to change because it already has an 8 as a denominator. And then you're going to tell us who paid, or who had the smallest amount paid for because of their scholarship. Go ahead and turn to the next page. For Friday, I know your guys's is not in color, but that's okay. So we're going to pretend that these are still all black, and you can just use your pencil to shade. But you're going to make each side of the grid symmetrical. And the best way I've found to do this is to go row by row. So looking at A, I'm going to look at this first row first, and I see, I'm just going to work my way from the line out. So I see that there's 1, then a blank, then 1. There's 1, a blank, then 2. Blank, 2, blank, blank, 1, blank, 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 1, blank, blank, 1, blank, 2, blank, 1, blank, 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 2. So now both sides are symmetrical, and you'll do that for B, C, and D. Math Fact Corner, you guys know what to do. For this last one, it says Stefano practices playing the trumpet for 93 minutes on Monday, 58 minutes on Tuesday, and 89 minutes on Wednesday. How many hours did Stefano spend practicing the trumpet these days? So reminder, 60 minutes equals 1 hour. So first we need to add up all of the minutes. Remember, you can caret, and whatever your answer is here, then you can add 89 to it, and you'll figure out how many minutes Stefano played. And then what you need to do is figure out how many hours does that represent. So you're going to skip count by 60s. Continue on going until you hit this amount of time, and then that's how many hours. So if this was to add up to 120 minutes, I would skip count. This would be 1 hour. This would be 2 hours. You guys don't need to have this part. I'm just showing you. This won't add up to 120. You should not get 120 minutes. Our last one, you are going to do expanded form. Just write small. You will multiply by 10, multiplied by 100. Sum of the digits, remember it's 3 plus 2 plus 7 plus 6 plus 1. You're going to find the factors of the number in the tens place, not the value. So 6. And then you'll find the first 5 multiples of the number in the 10,000s place, which is the 3. This is the digit in the hundreds place, prime or composite, so the 7. Multiply, it's kind of fun this week. It says you create a 4-digit by 1-digit multiplication equation and solve. So out of the number of the week, pick 4 numbers. And then whatever one you didn't pick is the one that you will multiply it by. And then solve. Because it's a 1 digit on the bottom, you won't have to use MZMA, so this one might be quick. Cross out value, there's a typo in there, so we're not going to mess with it, and then double it. You guys can either add this number of the week twice or multiply it by 2. Good luck this week.